I understand this is difficult, but the board's decision is final. You violated the covenants.
I never expected that moving to Willowcreek Ridge, a quiet, tree-lined community with friendly porches and spotless sidewalks, would turn into a legal battlefield. Honestly, I moved there because I wanted peace. A place where my daughter could ride her bike safely, where neighbors waved instead of glaring, where grills smoked on summer evenings. But I learned something very important about HOAs. It only takes a few entitled people to turn paradise into a nightmare. This is the story of how my HOA tried to ban my family from using the very street we lived on. And how I calmly, methodically, and completely took everything back. The first sign of trouble came in a white envelope taped to my mailbox. No stamp. No signature. Someone had crept up and stuck it there, almost like they were avoiding being seen. Inside was a letter printed in bold red. Notice of street privileges suspension. Due to repeated violations, the board is suspending your access to Oak Haven Lane until further notice. At first, I laughed out loud. Suspension? Of my street? Oak Haven Lane was a public road. The HOA didn't own it. They barely maintained the flower beds next to it. But then I kept reading. Any vehicle registered to your household found driving, parking, or stopping on Oak Haven Lane will be subject to towing and HOA penalty. I blinked. Hard. I hadn't violated anything. I hadn't done anything except breathe. My wife, Claire, peeked over my shoulder. What is that? Apparently, I said, we're banned from our own street. She frowned. That doesn't make any sense. Should we call them? I shook my head. That's exactly what they want. I'm going to the meeting tonight. And that's when things really started spiraling. The HOA meeting room was packed. A few neighbors nodded to me sympathetically, while others avoided eye contact. I could almost smell the drama boiling. At the center table sat Megan, the HOA president. Perfect posture. Perfect nails. Perfect smile. But something about her felt manufactured. As soon as she saw me, she held up a hand. Mr. Hayes, she said, raising her voice so the whole room heard, you'll need to sit in the guest section. Violators cannot sit at the community table. Violators. That word snapped something inside me. I calmly sat in the front row. Before we begin, Megan said, flipping her stack of papers dramatically, we need to address the ongoing issue with the Hayes household. My stomach tightened. Claire squeezed my shoulder. Megan continued, your family has repeatedly ignored HOA guidance regarding yard decor, trash placement, and noise ordinances. Therefore, street access has been suspended until compliance is met. I exhaled slowly. I'd like to see the violations, I said. She smiled sweetly. They're confidential. I blinked. Confidential? They're mine. It's procedure, she said, tapping her papers. I couldn't believe what she said next. It's not personal, Mr. Hayes. But some people simply don't understand how our community operates. And if we let you slide, then everyone starts thinking they can do whatever they want. The room murmured. That's when I knew I had to fight back. I stood. Megan, you don't own Oak Haven Lane. Neither does the HOA. It's county land. This entire notice is illegal. She shrugged. Then sue us. The room went quiet. She wanted a fight. She just didn't know she'd already lost. The next morning, a tow truck idled outside my driveway. A man in a reflective vest approached. You the Hayes family? Got an order from Willowcreek HOA to tow any registered vehicles from this road. I stepped forward. This is a public road, I said. You tow my truck, you're committing theft. The driver hesitated. Before he could speak, Megan marched down the sidewalk, heels clacking like a judge entering a courtroom. Officer Daniels, she sang, please proceed. Daniels raised his brows. Ma'am, if this road is public, my company can't legally tow. Megan's smile tightened. It's not public. It's under HOA jurisdiction. I held up my phone. Not according to the county website. Megan's eyes grew sharp. Rules are rules, Mr. Hayes. My jaw clenched. County trumps HOA. The driver stepped back. I'm not touching that truck. Megan snapped, then we will fine him daily until. No, I said calmly. You won't. She folded her arms. And how exactly do you plan to stop that? I smiled. I filed a complaint with the county this morning. They're sending someone. Her face paled. And right on cue, a white county vehicle rolled up the street. A woman in a county badge stepped out. Who is the homeowner? That would be me, I said. She nodded and approached Megan. We received a report that the HOA is attempting to restrict access to a county-owned roadway. Megan forced a tight smile. It's a misunderstanding. We're simply enforcing community regulations. The county officer held up a folder. This road has never been deeded to the HOA. You have no authority to issue restrictions. Any letters or fines related to this are invalid. You could practically hear Megan's soul leave her body. But, she stuttered, we've always managed community access. The officer shook her head firmly. You're in violation of multiple county codes. The neighbors watched silently as Megan's confidence shattered. I couldn't lie. It felt good. But she wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Within days, Megan launched a campaign against me. Anonymous complaints. Fake violations. Photoshopped evidence. Letters taped to my door at 5 a.m. One neighbor whispered to me. She wants you gone. She does this to anyone who questions her. My daughter came home crying because the HOA told her she wasn't allowed to ride her bike on restricted streets. That was it. I told Claire, she picked the wrong dad. That's when I started gathering evidence of my own. I spent 3 weeks collecting everything. Photos of improper fines. Recordings of board members admitting Megan made decisions alone. Evidence that HOA funds were being used for personal expenses. Screenshots of Megan threatening neighbors. A recording of her saying she would bury the Hayes family in complaints until they leave. I couldn't believe what she said in that recording. It was pure, targeted harassment. Then I discovered the jackpot. The HOA was illegally using county property, decorating, altering, and fencing parts of public land as if it were theirs. That's when my plan snapped into place. I compiled it all into one large packet and scheduled a meeting with. Heavy checkmark the county. Heavy checkmark the sheriff. Heavy checkmark the state HOA oversight board. Heavy checkmark and the neighborhood members who were sick of her. I didn't plan revenge. I planned exposure. The room was full. Not like the last time. This time, everyone came for a show. Megan strutted in like she still owned the world, but I saw the twitch in her eye. I stood up. I have several matters to present regarding misconduct within this HOA. She laughed. Oh, please. You've wasted enough of our time. But then she noticed the sheriff in the back row. And the county officials. And the state board representative. Her smirk vanished. I placed the thick packet on the table. Let's begin, I said. For 40 minutes, I went through everything. Her forged violations. Her misuse of community funds. Her fake authority over public land. Her targeted harassment. Her threats. Her fabricated evidence. Her illegal fines. Her abuse of homeowners. Neighbors gasped. A few whispered, I knew it. Megan's face turned white. Finally, the state representative spoke. Ms. Collins, do you deny any of these actions? Megan sputtered. This is all being blown out of proportion. The sheriff stepped forward. We'll need to have a conversation outside, ma'am. She froze. Then the county official addressed the room. Effective immediately, Megan Collins is removed from her position. This HOA is placed under investigation and temporary county supervision. The room erupted. Megan was escorted out. And I sat down, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. Within a month, the HOA board was replaced. The illegal fines were refunded. Street access was reinstated. My daughter could ride her bike again. Neighbors actually started talking, and smiling, at each other. And the county permanently banned the HOA from regulating anything beyond what their charter legally allowed. The new president shook my hand and said, "Thank you for standing up to her. You saved this neighborhood." The funniest part. The state board discovered Megan had been using HOA funds to pay for landscaping on her private property. She ended up owing thousands. And she moved out quietly one night. No goodbye. No letter. Just gone. People often think HOAs are unstoppable. That once someone in power starts abusing it, you just have to endure it. But the truth? Bullies only win when you stay quiet. Know your rights. Read the laws. Ask questions. Document everything. And never let someone take something from you just because they assume you won't fight back. In the end, I didn't just protect my family. I restored an entire neighborhood. And all it took was patience, truth, and a willingness to stand up when it mattered.